Hola and welcome to the Destination Wedding Planning Show, courtesy of Hola Weddings. I am Lisa Wright. I am the owner and co-founder of Hola Weddings, and I'm here with Teresa Juarez. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Teresa. I'm a destination weddings specialist at Hola Weddings, but I've been working in the travel industry for several years. I've worked in the weddings coordination team from one hotel, so I'm an expert.
All right, and today we're going to be talking about all these first steps you need to take in order to plan your destination wedding.
That's true. We're gonna go through all the main steps, the information you need to know before start planning.
Okay, let's get started. So first thing, why are destination weddings so popular and what sets them apart from local weddings? So Teresa?
I think first of all, you can have like a mini vacation. So everyone has the opportunity to enjoy, the beach, the all-inclusive experience, and also celebrate the love of this beautiful couple.
Okay. And it's all happening in a beautiful setting.
That's right. So you also have the backdrop for the beautiful pictures at the beach. Everyone is there enjoying their lives with a margarita in hand. So I think it's perfect.
Okay. And what are the common misconceptions that wedding couples have when they call you?
Well, I think first of all, people think that because it's an all-inclusive resort, the wedding is also included in the rate, and that's not true.
Okay.
So most of the wedding packages, you have to pay for them. Also, I think another misconception is that the wedding it's gonna be free because you're bringing XX number of rooms. So that's important to clarify too.
Okay. So we're going to talk through how that happens because a lot of the hotels promote free wedding packages.
Yes, but that can be tricky because sometimes those free weddings might have like some restrictions, like it's only in a weekday or during the daytime. So we have to explore like all the options and check if the free wedding is a good fit for what you're looking for.
Okay. And one of the ones that I always get is when I ask people about their guest list, they say that they're inviting 150 and they're going to get 150. So
Yes.
What's the average percentage of people that actually come to a destination wedding?
I would say around 50, 60-ish. It's tricky because it depends all in your guest, like financial commitments, work. So it's a lot of things involved in the decision of if you're able to go to the wedding. So at the end, I know I just planned my wedding, you know that. And I really thought that everyone was gonna be able to make it, but they couldn't. So we have to be very realistic about that. Not everyone is going to be able to make it.
Okay. And take that into consideration for the
Yes.
hotel rooms, for the package that you're choosing, and it's going to affect your budget.
Definitely, because it's not the same budgeting for 200 guests that for maybe 60, 65. So that's why we are here for, to help you like check all those points to make a very informed decision.
Okay. And then what about the guests that don't want to stay at the resort where you're staying? Because we often get couples thinking that they can use the hotel wedding package and they can profit from, I guess, the lower cost package, but then not have people stay at the resort.
Yes, that's a common question, but I think maybe not the 100%, but the majority of the resorts will require the guests to stay there for a minimum of 3 nights, some of them even 4. So that's important to consider. Like your guests need to stay in the resort where the wedding is taking part. So yeah, very important to consider that.
So for couples that are in the initial stages and thinking, okay, we think we're going to explore a destination wedding versus a local wedding, what would you say is the first thing that they need to discuss in order to make this decision?
Budget.
Okay.
I think budget is very, very important because when you're planning your wedding, you're so excited and you can just want everything. You see these beautiful Instagram pictures, Pinterest, but you have to be really realistic and have the talk with your fiancé. What can you do? What you can do? So I think for me, that's the very big step. What do you think?
I would agree with you. We get a lot of companies calling in, sending us an Instagram picture saying, I want that flower arch, not realizing that the arch that they used for the publicity picture was $1,000. Or the over-the-water ceremonies right now, which also everybody wants. But shutting down that pool ahead of time and then doing the actual installation of the platform, we're already talking thousands of dollars.
Not including like the flowers, the chairs, etc. So yes, this is tricky. But I think this is the first thing you really need to have set, or at least an idea.
And then figure out what the priorities are for you and your fiance. Sometimes it's the party and it's the music and the DJ and the entertainment. And sometimes it's more the aesthetics and the floral.
It's all about the pictures.
It is all about the pictures.
So it depends on the bride. There's very minimalistic brides that they stick to what the package includes and it's easier. But there's also brides that really want to add on a lot of things, or to entertainment, the hora loca, the mariachi. So I think those things can add on easily to your final invoice. So you need to consider all those little things that you want a really nice experience for your guest. But is it within your budget?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's good marriage advice in general. Making sure you can talk about money and those things, right?
Yes, I think this is the first test if you're gonna make it or not. Wedding planning is something else.
And then guest list. How do you go about that?
I think you want in your wedding, well, for me at least, the people that is close to you, that know your story, that have been there. So I know with weddings, it's also about social commitment. You know, your mom, your dad are gonna say, hey, remember your far away uncle that carried you when you were a baby? Yes. So I don't know. I think you have to make your list with the people you really want to be there. And, you know, there's also commitments, job, people, your boss. I invited you.
I did. I was the Teresa's wedding.
So yeah, you need to take in consideration. I would say that between the bride and groom, they have to make a list of their together important people and their families. So yes, this is like another really tough discussion.
Okay. I remember with my wedding, I caused a little bit
Drama.
because I really wanted to keep it small. I didn't want a massive do. I wanted it to be about me and my now husband and our families.
Yes.
And my husband doesn't have a very big family, and on my end, things are never ending. So to choose those cousins that were really a part of my life, like, not that I don't love my other cousins, but the ones that didn't see us grow together, that haven't been an everyday sort of.
That's true. I think it's important. But at the end, you're required to invite some people. So my best advice is just to do whatever your heart tells you. It's a very important date in your lives. You need to have the people that really love you and will be happy for you and not judge you. Because sometimes weddings, you know, people can get judgy.
100%.
So
100%.
it's tricky. I think guest list, it's like a hot topic.
So for your guest list, for, let's say, your rider dies, the ones that are you grow, these are the people that you actually want to consult.
Yes.
Before even planning a destination wedding, because we do have couples that get into the throes of things and they start planning, and then they speak to their closest loved ones and they say, well, no, I don't want to travel to Mexico, or I can't leave the country for this engagement or this reason. So that's definitely something that you want to do before you get too far along in the process, to find out that you've booked a date, but then
no one can go.
No one can go. Yeah. And then venues. Let's talk a little bit about venues.
Well, there's a lot. You know, nowadays I think it has happened to you too, but everyone wants the ocean view, but not the sand.
It's really funny because you'd think that destination weddings, everybody wants to have their feet in the sand, but I'd say what, like 80% of our couples
definitely
don't want sand.
They don't want sand.
So I don't know. I feel like they want a certain level of formality.
Yes, because at at the end, you want your bridesmaids and all the lady guests to use their high heels, to feel pretty, the long dresses. So it makes sense.
And the dress choice is going to be greatly impacted by what venue you're
Of course.
choosing for your wedding.
So yeah, I think nowadays there's just a handful of couples that really choose the beach itself for the ceremony.
Okay. So we've talked about the decisions that you need to make with your fiance, which are the big ones. What's your budget?
Yes.
What's your guest list? Can they make it to where you're going? What sort of venue do you both envision for this big event?
Yeah.
What are the next steps? How do you decide on a location?
I think first you will need to decide where you actually want to go. So we have Mexico, and then in Mexico we have the Caribbean, the Pacific, Los Cabos, Puerto Vallarta, but also we have the Caribbean island, like Dominican Republic, Costa Rica. So I think first of all, you need to decide where you want to go.
Okay. So I guess the ease of access, depending on where you're coming from, there's some destinations that have direct flights to Dominican Republic regularly and some really don't.
Yes, that's true. I think for the majority of our couples, it's easier to come to Mexico and to Cancun, Riviera Maya because there's so many flights. But also, like, I think Dominican Republic is doing better. We're starting to have more people interested in going to Dominican Republic, for example.
Okay.
But I think this is very important to consider, like flights. If there's a lot of flights, sometimes there's some destinations that only have flights like 2 per week. So it can be tricky.
Okay. And then again, we need to talk about budget. Different destinations have different costs, flights have different costs. So you need to check in with your guests if it's important for you to people to actually come to your wedding. Like you might fall in love with a particular hotel that costs $600 a night, and that's fine for your budget, but will that fit the budget of the 50, 60, 100 guests that you could be inviting?
Yes, what I always advise my couples is maybe choose a resort that has multiple options of room categories. They have like the lowest category, and then there's upgraded versions in case there's guests that really want to spend a little bit more in a, I don't know, in a master suite, a slim up room.
Okay.
So that's a good option.
So for your more bougie guests, you
Exactly.
have higher room categories.
I think that's one of the best things you can do, but also even maybe the lowest category can be pricey for some guests. So this is like one of the decisions that you really, really need to take into consideration because at the end, maybe your guests won't be able to travel and you will have like only maybe 10, 20 guests that will be able to attend. So yes, this is something that the couples can easily forget.
Have you had wedding couples subsidize the cost of the rooms? So let's say they have a budget for their wedding of $40,000 and their wedding's only going to cost 20 or 25. Have you had people say, you know what, with that extra 15, I'm going to pay for some nights or for some rooms for the guests that maybe wouldn't have the budget to stay there? Is that something that's doable?
It's doable. I've had couples that paid maybe not for the whole stay, but they offer to pay one night for some guests.
Maybe go to those.
I know, right? But yeah, if it's within your budget and you're able to help your guests, or at least your closest family or some, I don't know, very close friends that have maybe some particular issue that maybe they cannot completely afford the whole 3-night stay that the hotel requires, why not? I think if you want them to go there, why not? And also, you can get concessions.
Okay, let's talk about concessions.
Yes.
So what are concessions for people that aren't a part of this business?
Concessions. So nowadays, travel has increased a lot. I think particularly after COVID, people is traveling like,
Yeah, it's a lot more than before.
yes. So at this point, I think resorts are not really offering these huge discounts to groups, right? So instead, what they offer is concessions. So they are giving you, for every 10 book rooms, 1 room is going to be free, or you're getting upgrades, or you're getting a free cocktail hour. So these perks that the hotel offers for bringing a group, it's what we call the concessions.
Okay. And then how does that work? Is it the 11th person books their room and it goes ding, 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 your room is free?
No. This benefit is for the wedding couple.
Okay.
So at the end, the hotel will make all the final guest counts based on the final, once all the rooms are paid for by the guests.
Okay. So everything has to
Yes.
be paid.
Everything has to be paid. That's very important. Once that everything is paid, they will make the numbers and let you know your final amount. And this is a refund.
Okay. As a refund.
This is extra cashback. I could say, call it like that, a refund to your credit card. So with that, you can help maybe your family pay 1 or 2 nights, and you're gonna get that money back at the end.
Okay. Or you can just use it for yourself. You
Yeah.
can put it towards your wedding costs.
Exactly. So that can compensate a little bit all the expenses you're making for the wedding. So you're getting a little bit of that relief at the end.
Okay. And I know as all the weddings, we offer a few really fun concessions. What are the things that we offer our couples?
I think our signature perk, it's a handmade maracas.
Yeah.
Everyone loves them.
So we can only do that in Cancun and Riviera
That's
Maya
true.
because we do personally deliver them.
Yes,
But
they're handmade.
yes.
But we also do give extra cashback,
Okay.
the other cashback. Also, in depending on the hotel, we're able to give the wedding couple free transportation
Discounts on tours.
Yeah. at the catamaran or some discount on tours. And also, I really like to mention to my couples that the added value of Hola Weddings is having a dedicated coordinator from our team.
Yes.
So I think that's very important because you want someone to talk to. And also, it's not that if that person is out on vacation, you don't have anyone else to talk to. So our whole team is here to help.
Okay. So what exactly do destination travel agents do?
Okay, so what travel agents do is basically take off the shoulders of the couple all the travel logistics.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is, first of all, we're gonna help you find the right resort. We're gonna help you secure your wedding date. We're gonna help you choose the right wedding package, of course. And then we're gonna help you do the room block contract that can be a little bit tricky, very tricky. Terms, concessions, deadlines. So we're gonna help you understand that. We're gonna help you decide the room block because you need to have some categories. And we're gonna be there for you through all the process. We offer a website, so it's easier, it's user friendly. Your guests can easily go and book the rooms.
Okay. So when you're working with couples, you need to take all of those factors into consideration. So you're talking with them about what they discussed with their fiancés. So what their budget is, what sort of venues they're looking at, what sort of ceremony they want. So let's say Catholic, obviously there's certain prerequisites and you have to get married in a certain place. If it's LGBT, we need to make sure that that country is open and welcoming. So we're taking those factors into consideration as well as what they would potentially want for their group.
Mhm.
And then how do you go about narrowing that down to get to the final place where they'll go, you know what, that's the one.
Yes. For me, it's easier to have like a conversation with the couple, ask some questions, because there's hundreds of resorts only here in Cancun or Riviera Maya. So there's a lot of options. So what I do normally after having the conversation and talking of what they are looking for, it's send some options, like a first round of options. If those options are not a good fit, feedback is very important.
Yeah.
Very, very important, because you can tell me, okay, I didn't like this resort, but why? Or I really like that resort. Why is that you like that resort? So we can streamline all the information, and then I can be more specific on the resorts I'm sharing with the couple.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If there's hundreds of resorts, how do you know all of these resorts?
Well, because I go there. Training is very important. So the good thing is that we are here, so we can drive to the resorts. We have a really good relationship with them because we know them in person. So we know the majority of the wedding coordinators do. Like most of them, we have a good relationship with them. And it's part of our jobs, like go to the resorts. I know one margarita sometimes. It's a sacrifice we need to do, right?
And also a hard part of the job is traveling to the other destinations. So this year, where did you go for training?
This year, I went to Puerto Vallarta.
Okay.
Amazing. If you want information, call me.
And then what other destinations have you explored?
Last year, we went to Dominican Republic.
I know that was a hard one.
It was
a lot of resorts in a very, 2-week period? About that?
It was a 2-week period, but very productive. We went to a lot of resorts. We met the wedding team, and we learned a lot because, here, we go like at least once per week.
I'd say that, yeah.
Depending, we go to one resort to get fresh information updates, but we didn't know anything about Dominican Republic. So it was interesting. We learned a lot. There's beautiful resorts over there. The beaches are beautiful. So yes, it's good that we know the places like firsthand. It's not the same that you just went online, did a webinar, or saw photos online, that see the place with your own eyes, and experience it. So that helps a lot.
Okay. And I've been lucky enough to do Costa Rica.
I know.
Huatulco, and Los Cabos. And you're going to Costa Rica.
Yes,
right?
I'm going to Costa Rica soon, so I'm excited.
Okay. So other than the experience, when people are thinking about getting a travel agent for their wedding planning, what else should they consider?
Maybe depending on your needs, because it's very important that we mention this. In a destination wedding, it's hard to say, but you're not gonna be the only bride, probably. Maybe in the same day, there's gonna be maybe 2 other weddings. If it's a larger resort, yeah. So the communication with the resort starts to get better when your date gets closer. So if you think that you need extra help or just talk to someone and you want to start planning your wedding ahead of time, you should hire a wedding planner.
Okay, so let's talk it through for people that don't understand this whole destination wedding world. What's the difference between, let's say, what Hola Weddings does and what you do, and which is destination wedding travel agent, and then destination wedding planner or coordinator?
Yes. So what we do, it's basically help with the travel part of the wedding process. So we will help your guests book their rooms, answer their questions. When your grandma calls, we will help her book her room because there's all kind of guys that will need different things. We will help with transportation. We will collect flights. So it's all the travel section of the wedding planning. But it doesn't mean that we don't get involved in the planning itself. The only thing I think, I don't know if you agree, is that having another person involved in the decision-making of the little details can be a lot. So that's why we have all of our attention in the travel, rooms, etc. And that's where the hotel will give you a coordinator, but only like 3 to 4 months, maybe 6 months before the wedding. So if you're booking your wedding 1 year, 1.5 years before, and you want to start planning.
So the hotel wedding coordinator is the one that's going to take care of the wedding day logistics. So the music, the timeline, the flowers, the actual wedding itself.
Yes, and I think my wedding was, this September, and I hired a coordinator for the day of, and I think that was the best decision ever.
Good investment.
The best investment. So the hotel will offer you for free a hotel coordinator that will be there with you on the day off. And that's the person you're gonna be talking to like 3 to 4 months prior, like to put everything together. So I think having that person on the wedding day, it's the best thing they can offer, because you can enjoy your wedding and not think about what's the next step. Where's the flower girl? Or where's my husband? So I think that's very important. But what do you think are the main differences?
Okay, so the way I see it is the destination wedding travel agent helps you with all the first steps. So if they're trained and they have experience, they should be able to guide you towards the right resort based on your vision and your discussion. So a discussion is super, super important. And then from that, you end up choosing the resort that you want your wedding at.
Yes.
The resort will provide a wedding coordinator. Again, like you said, you're not the only bride. These wedding coordinators, unfortunately, you've been there and done that. A lot of people on our team have as well. So they're dealing with brides for every single day from now until the time that you're actually getting married. So the ones that are getting married the soonest are the ones getting the most attention. And when it comes to be your turn, you want the full attention, right? So that wedding coordinator will do the planning, but it'll only happen in the last few months. So one thing that wedding couples can also consider, depending on their needs and depending on their stress levels and their budget, is to hire an extra wedding planner that will normally have maybe a dozen weddings in a year and have more personalized meetings and more personalized attention further out to the wedding, and they will work hand in hand with the hotel coordinator in order to make the day go off without a hitch.
Yes, that's true. And I think that's helpful for example couples, right? That they have a full-time job, medical field, etc. that really need that extra pair of hands.
Okay.
So I think the difference is clear between the three of them. But I would like you to ask you, what do you think a wedding couple should consider when hiring a travel agent for their wedding?
I think the most important thing with any hire, whether it's your travel agent or your wedding planner or your hairstylist, is the relationship. You're going to be working, especially for your destination wedding, you're going to be working with this person and their team for potentially a year or more. So you need to make sure that you feel really comfortable with them, that you feel that they have the experience that they need to help you. Read the reviews, go online, ask about their certifications and their training. Make sure that this is the person that you want to work with. So obviously, this is what we do, and I want people to work with us. But sometimes when it's just not the right fit, or if someone calls us and says, hey, I want to get married in Tahiti, that's fantastic, but we're not that. So
That's true.
you really need to see this as what's going to be an ongoing relationship and someone that you feel is going to be your friend and like cheer you on and help you through it.
Yes, I think you cover all the important points because, as you mentioned, it's a relationship. I always feel like the first call I have with my couples is like our first date. And I feel like very, very happy when I get to see their wedding pictures, the bride in her wedding dress. Like it's amazing. Like I have brides that I made a connection with them and that we had this conversation. And then when I see them like in the altar, I'm almost crying. It's so emotional. It's so nice.
We have a really fun job that
It is.
I feel is important. And yeah, I always get super connected to my couples and I love seeing that final day. And one of the things that I love about the maracas as well is when we get to drop them off and meet the couples.
Yes, like you've seen their faces, talk to them for days and days and days and days, and after, like you meet them in person. Oh my God!
Yeah.
It's so nice.
It's great.
Yeah,
We're really, really fortunate.
we're very lucky. Like our jobs are about love.
That's true.
So it's so for me, it's amazing. I love it.
Good. So what advice, with your years of experience, what advice would you give couples to make their planning as stress-free as it can be?
First of all, circling back to the topic of the travel agent or the wedding planner, just hire someone that you are comfortable with, that gives you like peace of mind. like planning a wedding, it's like a second job. So you need someone that knows what they are doing. And when it's a destination wedding, maybe we have couples that they haven't been here, not even in the country. So they are trusting us to guide them through all this process. So choose someone you trust. Hear your gut. If your gut is telling, yeah, this is the right person, go with that. What would you say?
Yeah, and whether they're using us or not as travel agents, on our YouTube channel, Hola Weddings YouTube channel, we have hundreds of video lists of the hotel wedding venues. So you get the 360 of what it actually looks like and not the Photoshop picture with only one straight on view. So I think that those are useful tools that you can use in order to get a better idea and sort of relieve the stress that that venue is exactly what it is that you're looking for.
That's true, because you can see like everything, not just the venue with the beautiful arch, but you can see that maybe in the back there's a building. So you can have an idea.
Or a guy in a Speedo.
Do you not want that in your pictures?
There are some hotels,
Yeah.
and I will not mention this one, that they have this beautiful poolside gazebo, and the videos and the pictures are flawless. And when you actually get there in person, you're smashed between a jacuzzi and the activity pool where they're doing volleyball. So it's not at all what you envision. What you envision when you see the picture, the people doing the advertising obviously did their jobs remarkably well, but that's not what it is in real life.
That's true. At the end, if you only care about the photographies, it's fine.
That's true.
But if you think of the overall experience,
Or if you want all your guests to already be in Speedos, also
going on.
Okay, so one last question, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
What do you wish your couples knew before starting the process? So we might be recapping a little bit on what we've talked about, but if you had just a few tips, what would you say?
I would say once again, destination weddings are beautiful. It's a mini vacation. You have the ocean, the beach, the breeze. But I really want to point out this again. You're not the only bride getting married. So you just have to know it. Set expectations.
Okay.
So I think that's very important. You are an expert. What's the best advice you can give the couples?
This is my advice, but it's also the advice that we get from our brides to other brides. I'm saying brides, it could be grooms. Wedding couples to other wedding couples. The same words always come up over and over again, and that's trust the process.
Yes, I think
the wedding coordinators at the resorts, yes, they have a lot going on, but they do this day in and day out. They obviously want your wedding to be as perfect as it can be. So they don't have enough hours in a day to be able to respond to your email 8 months in advance, but you can rest assured that when it comes time to your wedding, you will have their undivided attention. They will be putting everything they got into your wedding in order for it to be what you envisioned. So trust the process.
I think that's the best advice. Trust the process.
Okay. So where can wedding couples get more information or resources if they want to continue looking into planning a destination wedding?
I would say YouTube, you just mentioned.
Okay.
We have a lot of videos, Instagram, blogs, websites, reviews, but reviews can be tricky.
Okay.
But I think there's a lot of material content online. You can visit our website. What do you think?
Did you put together a Pinterest board? Like the inspiration?
I did.
Okay.
I did put together a Pinterest board, and it's very helpful. Like, because you can get an idea of what you want, and then you can just send that to your coordinator, and it will make things easier. So yes, definitely Pinterest is a great tool.
Okay. So check out our socials, obviously. Check out other wedding blogs. Check out the resort blog that you're thinking of booking. There's a ton of online resources when it comes to destination wedding planning. Facebook groups, super important. And that's not a company normally trying to sell you something. It's wedding couples that have actually been there and done that, helping you and to guide you through the process. Thanks for tuning into our Destination Wedding Planning Show. Thank you, Teresa, for your expertise. Love chatting with you.
It was amazing, and please reach out to us. We would love to help you.
So our website is holaweddings.com, HOLA weddings.com. You can reach out to us there if you want to book a free consultation, get more information, give us any feedback on this episode or any questions that you'd like to have covered in future episodes. We'd love to hear from you.